Welcome to episode 2 of The Old Guy Poet. I'm John Kilroy. Today I have 3 poems, and all I ask is that if you find yourself engaged with one of the poems, you just keep coming back. That's all. I think these 3 poems will confirm that there's something going on here you can't find anyplace else. The first poem has big fun. And when you merge big fun with the complexity of a good poem, you have a very tasty dish. So coincidentally, it's called I Ate the F-16. Spent one summer squaring grass, sweated out a winter slapping meat off dirty grills to twitchy customers. Then had Corey drive me to Midland County Navy. How much do you want for that F-16 out back behind the gunships and copters? $1.4 billion. How about $800 cash under your front porch mat, and we leave the rest to shrinkage? Hell, it ain't my store. This teenage boy got a fighter jet. Oh man, one hand on a wet Pepsi can, the stick tight between my knees. And when Jimmy's done, I yank him out, pop the Isley Brothers' greatest hits, and a Kenwood 8-track built to military specs. The cops are pissed. Nothing in the books about supersonic rollovers overhead, laws written for the gray and grounded. My parents would only ask me once where I was after I said 30,000 feet. Children no longer have a language for me, but I can see it in their eyes. Yes! Fly! And when I'm lonely, sad, teenage ugly, I take her straight up inside a noonday sky, thinking the sun and I should maybe meet. A newspaper route ends right quick, fired hours after I carpet bombed my town with 500 pounds of blues. The boss said I was sure spectacular. My Sunday papers tore through roofs, and I missed most of our subscribers. So they have a company policy now against kids capable of 500 miles per hour. For the big game one Friday, I offered to strafe the enemy high school gym. But they said, no, we always steal their mascot. They paint our statue. For 60 years, that's how it's done. What shocked me most, girls scared at the sight of an open jet cockpit. As if faster, higher was better left idea than skinny brown-haired kid. All their beauty and power wasted to make us one much like another. A lonely boy lands a Falcon jet amid Camaros, Firebirds, Mustangs, and he's only lonelier, sadder yet. Sameness, the straight oxygen of this community, the not wanting enough. Greatness sure is exile. But Judy took a ride. More than friends or lovers, we flew proud as proof of some other place. Brave lands, maybe. One night I pulled her on my lap to drive, keep both hands on the wheel, unbuttoned her blouse, unhooked her bra, and zipped her pants. Let's see you run her by the courthouse with my hands on your tits. So she did. And the way she laughed just then should be written in our history books, though they never record much of the epic fun people like us had. Judy calls it Doomlit 101. That's the way it was, me and my F-16, widening every sky until the second year of college, when I met Ellen and chose to settle down. We got married, moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, made plans to raise a family, no jet fighter need, things were moving fast. My life couldn't take one more shove. But I couldn't leave my past to rust. The energy, speed, fury to airless heights. Maybe I could keep it all inside, decades stored for some different kind of flight. And so, come a starkly moonlit night, I ate the F-16. I hate the F-16. I hate the F-16. I hate the F-16. This next poem, you might want to grab your crash helmet and buckle in. It's called Electronic Media Solstice. I'm going to go through it kind of fast because this is the way I heard it as it kind of came to me from the spirits. In my hacker suit of nether dawn, hunter's night, digital invisible for my politest crime wave, jazzy snare drum riffing out zeros and ones, glib, and all this shared cranium space, rebels pout the spiel, we must start thinking like Ferraris. As in, don't thank me, run me over. As in, what's a passport to a Nova? As in, the end of white women slithering. Just type the clues despite memory-filled cavity. Information neither good nor bad in collusion with ground sloths of the industrial age. How we eat the moralist eggs, bleeding facts. It's not wrong, but the way that we cash in. They hunt us in Bali, we hunt them in Jersey, hear them from space, kill us in our office complex. Coin or copulation, doctors chart only sales. And leave churches to count the dead. Our final war about time, conflict of centuries, blank tech manifesto. Be brave, my little parasite. The seer crunches numbers. Go to sleep, my little stash. Heresy can be deceiving. Ask the boy and then ask the bishop. Because God gave us guns. Born without a neighborhood, sludge shopper, lethal cinematic love, every bedroom fetish for the boot. Crawl unto me, vile reproduction, rough trade death, moan of crisis, no cure for patent leather hats. Blame also ticks the atomic clock, technology of coma. They string you up with hope. Don't worry, tonight's thunder is on my credit card. Same old buffalo tears, yet we still seek the toxic as aquatic birds to marsh. Each tomorrow slipped into a vending machine. Our shared recall, strictly television. We raffle off the dumb, then the smart, until we're all hung on carnival wires. Alcohol, our most effective political argument. Sleep, the last land of truth. Our snoring protest so loud. No, wait, that's us. In a scream and run dream, kelp color of bones turns to albino children alive and drowned at once, floating, movement strictly fashioned by prevailing current, until tender words require condoms, nothing more expensive than our acts. And so we save ourselves to death. Minimalism of cows, stoic as a mall kid alone, retail clawing away her skin. As the new Eve covers herself in greed, a savior merely says, yes, I'm advertised. But don't destroy the phone lines, everyone agrees. Plotters in Portland sync with the FBI in Kabul. Every cell phone capable of calling in an airstrike. Battle lines vaporized by the need to be a man. Calumny, the name of every night TV, corner star in ratings bonanzas, although no one's sure who's dead. What's dead? Life the width of shoelace. Get drunk and call a number for promises of love. Cheaper to cut a check for disappearing frogs. What's a forest if not logs? Wander in video games in fear of all unpaved. De-spine the young, then pour the children into pudding molds. Jill skate rats for grinding miracles on the library steps and regulate each wave for the safety of surfers. The saying of all this, my need, my reverie writhing up from a bare floor, how I spend purpose so far from our one sun. And this next and final poem for this episode is just, I think, a lovely poem about the gold we can find in remembering. It's called Honey Time. The sun was so much younger then. The waking dawn would yawn out blues and golds that ran so long together one day they might marry. and gravity could not hold me down the way it does today. I found my feet in glider shoes in flight, fast as my forgetfulness of facts. Teachers bound to get me sure I was no good, despite applause from every class at my retorts, offhand remarks, mutterances. And you, there, positioned soft, right where I'd ricochet in hard cracks and smacks upon walls and desks, football players' fists, in love with so much, even sadness in the artist kids, the jumbled crush of recess splits, teen eyes of alien planet satellite discs. I missed separating you from all this. It took me 40 years to see you standing there, ready to repair my wrecked chrome wheels or slow my piranha flock rush to eat this life in final meals. How healing gets concealed in cotton balls, quiet prayer. But I hear now how you offered those to save the frantic boy from the burden of all that dreaming and keep him safe, till he grew the sheer muscle mass of buildings tall enough to hold the antenna he'd soon construct to beacon out unmoneyed truth. I'm sure you had to learn to judge and blame to make your way through all the scheming crowds, and no one can still believe in me the way you did back then. But know I hold you now in honey time. Weep in joy and gratitude to recall you're telling me we're fine. Fine. Thank you. And remember, if one of these poems engaged you, that's a triumph. That's a victory for both of us. And the poem is completed in you. I write stuff, but the poem isn't completed until it's read. And that's where the poem exists. In fact, next episode, I think I'll read something relatively compact about why poetry. In this day and age of Marvel Comics movies and the internet everywhere about everything, what is poetry and why does it matter today? So we'll do that in the next episode along with a couple poems, and I hope you come back. Thanks.